Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hi, boys and girls. Hi, boys and girls. Paul here. Paul Clough, Personal Development Unplugged. And my thoughts today are with that song. Do you remember that song? What song's that, Cloughie? The one that goes, "It's a mad world." It's a bloody mad world, isn't it, at the moment? How do you keep yourself sane with so many people, I guess, they're getting off on spreading fear? Every news channel I've listened to is having orgasms, spreading fear. You can see the little glint in their little reporters' eyes of how terrible it could be. Little example. On the news in England, they were talking about people being a little bit concerned about the exams for the youths of today coming up to their critical exams and what's going to happen. And the person said, well, we'll probably spread the desks out a little bit wider so we've got more distance. And that seems pretty sensible, isn't it? A bit of common sense. Yet that reporter says, well, that's going to have a dramatic effect and it can be so horrendous trying to do all that. And the guy said, not really, we just push the desks a little bit wider. And I thought to myself, well, there's one sane person. And how are we going to keep sane in this world of madness? Well, here's my little help. If it's help at all, it might even make you worse. It may make you mad, insane. Because I'm going to try to give you a little podcast every day. It might be long, might be short, might be just something I've heard, maybe something weird, maybe a process or something to think about. Just to keep you occupied. Maybe just get your mind to think of something different, because when you think of something different, you can't think of the other stuff. And something to take away from all this bloody fear and anxiety, because if you're fearful and you're anxious, then that takes up too much energy. It reduces your autoimmune system because you're using all that energy up just worrying about stuff that may never happen. And I'm going to try to bring a little bit for you. In between that, and on this little podcast, I just want to also give you a big shout out to my youngest son. His name is Joseph Clough, and he's come up with a lovely podcast himself. He does lots of podcasts, so much bigger than me. But if you go to #469, World Events My Thoughts, Hypnosis by Joseph Clough, and he gives a really great podcast of just talking about things commonsensically, if that's a word, and some of the things about fear and anxiety. He's also got a little offer. He does a lot of hypnosis apps and things like that, and he's reduced it down to a bare minimum just to help people help, increase their autoimmune system and just get rid of fear and anxiety. So if you want to have a look at that, that's just Google Joseph Clough podcast. And then look for #469, World Events My Thoughts. I've listened to it and I thought it was brilliant. In fact, that's what has inspired me a little bit. I was halfway into thinking I'm going to do something by trying to do even as a short podcast every day. Just, if you're locked down, locked in, locked up, and you shouldn't be, then something to listen to, maybe give you something else to listen to, something else to direct your thoughts. If I can come up with some decent books, other podcasts, or anything I can just think of that will just help take that time away. Because it's just about, one of the things I noticed when you do wander out, and you're allowed to wander out, I think, as long as you don't kiss anybody and all that stuff, but just notice how wonderful the world is. It hasn't changed. The trees over here anyway, coming into springtime, just starting to, all the buds are coming through, and it's awesome. And there'll always be another spring. There'll always be another summer. We'll be there once we get through this madness. So that's what I plan to do. Now, they may be rough and ready because I may not have all the time in the world to edit these things. Yes, I do edit them. I do. I really do. You might not notice that or think that, but I do edit these. But I'm going to do my best to do just a little bit to just get us all, if you can just think in a different way. When I work with my clients, I give them something to do before their first session. And that something to do is to get them to think of something 180 degrees away from what their issue is. And it begins to change change their issue. It's not weird to me, but it's weird to them that their issue begins to decrease even before we've done any work. All because of what we focus on. And if we focus on shit, that's what happens. Shit happens, that's what it says. But if we focus on resourceful things, if we focus on times in our life when we've felt good, when we felt happy, we felt joyous, those will build us up. Those will make us feel better, because it takes so much energy to have anxiety and worry. It's knackering. I don't know if that's a word that you get in the USA, but it's tiresome. Oh, it takes everything. Yet when you're happy, you don't have to be ecstatically happy, but when you're just neutrally happy, doing things that you love or just doing things that amuse you, it takes no energy at all. And at the end of it, you still feel great. You still feel light. And therefore you can just get better and better. So that's what I plan to do. So keep an eye out. Do subscribe. Do subscribe so you get every little morsel of the Personal Development Unplugged podcast. They're going to be bonky. I know they are. Some are going to be, you're going to think to yourself, what the hell's Cluffy talking about now? But who cares? Let's just have a little bit of nonsense common sense. And if there's anything that you want me to prattle on about, just send me an email, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com, and you can do it as soon as you hear this, or whenever you think about something, just send me a little email. It's personal, and say, hey Cluffy, why don't you talk about this for a minute? And that's what I'll do. I'll give it a go, and let's see what we can generate between us. So this was the 5-minute quickie. Look out for tomorrow, and let's see what happens. Okay? So before you go, just remember, have a listen to that other podcast I mentioned. It's Joseph Clough. I've got to look again at my little screen to tell you what it's all about, because it keeps going funny on me. It was #469 World Events, My Thoughts. And just have a good listen and have a look at that deal. It's really good hypnosis. We do the same type of things. We come from the same philosophy of getting people to where they want to be, to make changes, to be the change you want to see in others. All the things I talk about, Joseph and I are so similar in the way we look at change work. He's awesome. He's my son, but he's awesome. In fact, all my sons are awesome. Do you have a favourite, Cluffy? You're not allowed to say that, are you? Anyway, until the next time, let's have some madness, proper madness, okay? See you soon. Bye-bye. Before you go, my friend, I'd like to ask you a question. Did you learn something from this episode? I hope you did, because even though every episode may not be the one that really floats your boat, sets you, alight, hopefully there's a takeaway in each and every episode for you. And I'd love to know what it was. So please do email me at feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. It's a personal email to me. I'd love to know so we can carry on doing this work that will allow you to exceed your dreams. And what's the payment for this? Payment, Cluffy? What are you talking about, payment? I thought it was free. Well, it's like, pay it forward. And if you could pay this forward in 2 ways, or maybe 3. The first way is, please share it. Share this podcast with as many people as you could. And you can. It's very easy. Just press that share button. Send it off by email to them. You'd love to. This is something you might like. I'll get that right, Paul. Something you might enjoy. And hey, if you could, a real big pay it forward to me is wherever you're getting this podcast, is it iTunes, Castbox, or Stitcher, or whichever you're getting it from, Google Play, I don't know. Would you please just leave a review? Because the review really helps people find this podcast. There's thousands out there, and I want to direct people to this podcast. And the way to do it is by reviews. So if you could do that, if you could share, you could do that. And also just make sure that you're subscribed so you get this episode and every other episode on a Wednesday and a Saturday. If you could do all of that, my little heart will sing. And if you want me to sing, well, you'll have to wait and see. But Enjoy. But please do all of that. Make my heart sing. Bye-bye now.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.